Happy Friday. Welcome to the $1 Million Message. This is National Sales Director Annika Krafka, and I want to share a couple of great tools to get you out of the starting gate this seminar year. You know, I know that many of you maybe won it at the finish line. A lot of races are won at the finish line. You know, I love that meme going around that showed the dead body laying there and it said, if I die, drag me across the finish line. I have been there. I've had those years where I've ran across the finish line with my tongue hanging out and I gave it my guts, right? But also, I've experienced those years that I won the race out of the starting gate. And man, does that feel good. I want to tell you, you know, if you waste a day every week, a day that you're planning to work your business, and you waste that every week this seminar year, you would get to the end of June and have 52 more days to reach that seminar goal. Do you see the importance of really using your time and really making July count to get yourself out of the starting gate? So I believe you have to have two main things in place. So the first thing is, what is your goal? What is your goal? Now, if we're a couple of weeks in to July and you still don't have a goal, that's okay. Get the goal today. Today, sit down and make the goal. I believe there's three kinds of goals. The first goal is, let's call this goal A. And it's a goal that I've done it before, so I know I can do it. I'm going to re-earn this. I'm going to do this again. The evidence is there. It's a sure thing. That is goal A. Then there's goal B. And that is a little bit further away. You have to stretch yourself a little bit, but you can really see the strategy coming into place. You can see all the puzzle pieces laying there, and you know you can put them together because it's all in place. You just have to do the work. That's goal B. Then there's goal C, where you look at it and you say, gosh, this is really what I want. I just don't know how it's going to come together. And goal C is really the type of goal where it's like, okay, I'm going to do everything possible on the human side, but I've got to trust God with all the details behind the scenes because there is no way possible I can do this on my own. And that's really where you have to lean in and use your faith muscle. But don't all of you want to have a C-type goal this year? Have that quantum leap style of goal. To have that year where you look back and said, that was the year. That was the year it happened. Just think about the amount of growth, not just professionally, but personally. Think about the growth that you would have in your faith from leaning in and really trusting God with the details. You would be a changed woman going into 2025. And so I want to talk about a helpful tool to make sure that you're working towards your C goal. So first of all, you have to have a power statement that aligns with what you really want in that C goal. So what is that power statement? Write the goal out. What is it? Now, here's the thing. In order to make that goal true, to program your brain, you know, your brain's already been programmed by everything that you're taking in the environment, every setback you've had, every obstacle, every negative thing you've heard, the people who don't support your dreams and things that they've said. You know, you are being programmed by every little thing that your environment consists of. So now, to really make this count and to really be intentional, you need to go in and program your brain to support what you really want. So what is it that you really want? Write that power statement out and get in the habit of every single day. The first thing you do is you write that power statement 3 times. 3 times. You guys, would it be great for you to write 50 times? Would it be great for you to write 100 times? Yeah. I mean, the more work that you do on this, the more you make it a reality. But let's start with where you're going to start. Let's start with what you're going to be willing to do. Okay? I want to set you up for success here. So write it out 3 times first thing in the morning. Get your head on straight about who you are, what you're doing, right? Write it out 3 times. Now, to take it to the next level, grab yourself an accountability partner. Who can you voice text, Voxer, WhatsApp, whatever you're using to voice connect? Who can you send that to every day, whether it's your mentor or your power partner? Send that power statement, verbalize it, and send it to that person every single day. How incredible is that? Now you have somebody else that you're not just programming your brain about what you can do, but now you have this power partner that you're programming her brain about what you can do. How fun is that, right? So that's the first tool that I would tell you to get in place, because in order for you to make a big thing happen, you got to have your head and your heart and everything aligned. You got to have your subconscious mind and your conscious mind all going in the same direction to get in alignment, to work on your beliefs, to grow your confidence, to get yourself into action, right? So that's the first tool. Write it out 3 times a day and verbalize. The second thing I'm going to share with you is a tool that has been very helpful in my business and very pivotal in building a national area. And Mary Kay talks about it in chapter 10 of her book, Miracles Happen. And it's called the $35,000 list. So Mary Kay learned this early in her career. You heard about this story. And there is this man named Ivy Lee, and he was an efficiency expert. And he met with a man named Charles Schwab, who was a business owner. And he said, okay, I'm an efficiency expert. I can be a game changer for you if you give me 15 minutes with your executives. And Charles Schwab said, well, what is this going to cost me, right? What's this going to cost me? Sure, you could talk to him for 15 minutes. And he said, here's the deal. I'll have this conversation for free. You have your people implement this skill that I'm going to teach them. And then after 3 months' time, you can do your calculation and write me a check for whatever you think that was worth. So sure enough, he talked to the executives for 15 minutes, and what he taught them was the power of the 6 most important things list. Sound familiar? And so every morning he said, get up and make your 6 most important things list and put them in ranking order. So the things are the hottest priority, put first, and then scratch them off as the day goes by. Now, what I found is that scratching it off helps me know what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, especially when I have a small little piece of time. I can really make it count by maybe grabbing something off that list. But also the dopamine that you get when you're crossing things off the list, it fuels you and it builds your confidence. You feel accomplished. You don't get to the end of the day and feel like you spun your wheels. You made progress. Now, some days you might not get everything done. For you perfectionists, it's going to kill you. But here's the thing. You have to know that some days it's progress over perfection. And when it's a day like that and you don't get a couple things done on that list, that's okay. Move them to the next day. I've also found for myself that I like to make this list at night. When I make the list at night, for me, it's kind of like if you had a brick and mortar store, and before you set up the lights and you lock the door, that's when I make my list. I get done with work for the day, and I make my list for the next day. And it's like my subconscious mind going, okay, I'm closed for business now. And it allows me to go have some freedom. I already feel accomplished. I did what was in my control that day. I know that God's going to bless my efforts. And then I have the freedom to live my life, to be the mom I want to be, to be the wife I want to be, to be the neighbor or the friend or the daughter I want to be. And so I have that freedom because guess what? I did the work when I was supposed to do the work. And so for me, I love it at night because it kind of shuts my brain down to my business. If I don't do that list at night, I find myself laying in bed with my wheels spinning thinking, what's tomorrow going to be? But when I make that list, I already know what tomorrow is going to be, so I can have peace with it and pick it back up again tomorrow. So here's what happened. The executive learned this skill. They implemented it for 3 months. And at the end of that 3 months, Charles Schwab did the calculation, and he found out that only after 3 months, his business grew and profited $35,000 more. Now, when Mary Kay wrote this book back in 1981, she figured that from the time the story happened to the time she wrote the book, that would have been more like $350,000 in 1981. So I'm telling you, from 1981 to now, that'd probably be $1 million situation. So I'm telling you right now, this is your $1 million tool. This is your $1 million list for you to make a 6 most important things list. And I know, ladies, as women, we are here, there, and everywhere. I have 3 daughters, and we are in the heat of it with activities. We like to be involved in our community. We live on the lake, so I like to be out there doing water sports and that kind of thing. So we have I don't want to say busy, because we get to choose everything that we put in that calendar, but we have a full and fun life. But I will tell you, maybe on the day that I'm driving to soccer in my carpool, driving to soccer carpool that day to practice, rather than driving back home and spending all that time driving, sit in the car for an hour and a half and cross some things off that list. If you have the list with you, you don't have to spin your wheels thinking, what can I do during this time? It's right there ready to go. the number one director in my national area. She built her business when she was working full time using her lunch break. She had 45 minutes over lunch. So she threw a quick lunch down in 15 minutes, and the other 30 minutes she made count. And what she did is she had that 6 most important things list. So if it said book 5 women, she had the 5 women written down with their phone numbers. So she didn't have any time to waste. What am I going to do during that 30 minutes I have over lunch? So where are the little nooks and crannies of time that you can find in your schedule that you can grab that 6 most important things list, and being organized in that way would be empowering to you. So those are the 2 things that I would tell you, get in place right now, right out of the gate. Don't let any time be wasted. Just imagine getting to June and having an extra 30 days to finish your goal. That's what it would be like. That's the kind of impact it would make on your seminar year if you really made sure you made July count. So are you on board with me to make July count? I hope you are. Have a great Friday. Happy weekend. Thanks for joining us.